Sorry about that, folks. I had to take a quick call. And I don't know how to pause it. So I had to. So I'm going to quickly tell you this story and then I'm going to dip out. For those of you who care about this story, maybe it'll help you. It's just answering why I'm called Raven. Okay, so back to the story. I'm using my book because we just had the Raven card, or my box of cards. So I used to live here, my friend lived here, and my other friend lived here. Okay? So one day on May 1st, I drove here, and on the way right about here, I see a raven behind in my rearview mirror. Huge, tip to tip, like, woo, freaked me out. So I get to my first friend's house here, and I say to her, I'm like, I just saw this raven tip to tip in my rearview mirror, and it totally freaked me out because my ex-husband was told by a witch that he was going to die on May 15th of 2012. And I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, who believes in that shit? Like, come on, don't live your life like that. But my ex-husband and I had different spirituality. This is why I'm my ex. Well, I love the guy, but we're not on the same spiritual plane. Anyways, long story short, I get to the first house here, and I say to my friend, like, what does that mean, do you think? And blah, blah, blah. So we get talking about ghosts. She lives in a very old house. It's the old hospital in our town, built in like the early 1900s or late 1800s. And she always had ghosts and her cats ran around. And so we were talking about stuff like that, like the energy, I'll just say energy of stuff. Then I go down to this friend's house and I'm hanging out with her about a few hours later. And I'm talking to her about the same thing. And this particular friend was reading a book about sacred geometry, the higher levels of Buddha, blah, 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 all of that stuff. And we're talking about how these people go through life cycles. And then all of a sudden you're an enlightened female. And this is her theory. I'm just paraphrasing all of it. And how you get messages from the beyond and da-da-da-da, like kind of like the Raven card I just read on my last show. So anyways, it starts to rain while I'm at this friend's house, like really bad. And I could have taken a road that went and gone to my house. Okay, but it was a farm road, Route 366. I'll tell you, that's the road if you want to go look where it is. Interesting number. But about a mile before that turnoff, okay, so I drove all the way back up here. It was an extra 25-minute drive, and then all the way here. While I was at my first friend's house, I should tell you, I was telling her I was having these weird dreams, very strange dreams, where I was flying through the air sideways, and I couldn't grab onto anything. And it was very like, you're falling, but it was actually sideways, and I couldn't figure that out. So that's why we got talking about ghosts and dreams and blah, 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 all this stuff. And, oh yeah, I said there's somebody, and I mean somebody being that I couldn't physically see that was in my car too for a long time. And the person was punching me in my right arm, like, pay attention, like just punching. And I was like, I don't know what this means. Like, this is when I really started tapping into energy around myself. And I would talk to my friends about it. And the ones that didn't think I was nuts, we had really great conversations. There was just a few of them. So anyways, I go driving down this road, and about a kilometer before that turnoff, so if I had taken this road here, I never would have come across this person that was hit by a car in the middle of nowhere. I'm talking nowhere. Like 45 minutes away from a town, like just on the highway in the middle of, this is 10 o'clock at night in the rain. It was freezing out this May 1st, like freezing rain. And there was this person, I came up into the road and I come around, first I go through these S-curves and this car passed me and I felt sick to my stomach. I felt like I was flying through the air and I'm like, this is fucked up. And then I come around the corner And there's this, I thought it was a deer on the road, but it was a man. And he was a 23-year-old person that had been, I'm assuming, hit by the car that I had the sick feeling at. So I put my car into park and I'm like, what the? And all of a sudden, all the dreams, this is what I was dreaming. So I went and helped the man the best way I could. And it was the most graphic scene. I'm not going to get into detail, but it was definitely violent, and the person was still alive until the ambulance came. And I felt that I helped the person. I had him in C-spine. If you know first aid, then you know what I was doing. And then as we transported him to the board, I felt the energy just go right through me like he was passing. Okay. And we were at, I was just telling this story the other day, and I had taken a class because I was a healthcare aide at the time for an elderly home, a care home. And I'd been sitting with people as they passed and saw cool, weird things, and people woke up when they were in a coma and all this weird stuff was happening. And so, and I'd have conversations with people and their families wouldn't. Before they passed, it was really disconcerting. They were calling me the angel of death for a while. And I was like, I didn't understand, but now I do. But this person was actually, when they were pronouncing him at the hospital, we were outside waiting for the police to show up and do the whole statements and give all of our stuff. And it was just the strangest experience. But let me tell you something even more strange. Okay. So that was on the same day I saw the Raven. Okay. May 1st, 2012. There has been 2 times in my life where I have had that experience. One was on October 6th of 1997 in Chilliwack, and the other one was on May 1st of 2012. So the first experience, both of these accidents were pedestrians that were hit by an automobile. And I was the first person on scene to both of these accidents. The second person on scene to both of these accidents, seriously, I'll testify to this under oath a million times, I'm not making this shit up, was a nurse. Now you want to get your mind blown even further? You ready for this? The only 2 times I've ever taken CPR in my life, ever, were 6 weeks before each of these accidents or in that time frame. So I was like, holy crap, this story gets even better, you guys. Seriously, better. Interesting. So May 1st, it was June, I think, probably around June 1st or somewhere around there. I went and got a lower leg tattoo. It's a tree and water, and it's got a cherry tree on it and blah, blah, blah. It's very symbolic of things that I had just gone through in my life, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, my friend was driving in this car. Now I'm going to tell you this story because I'm not afraid to tell you this story, and you can think whatever you want from this story. But her name's Holly Hawk. And so Holly and I were driving. She goes, we want to go out to this park out by Riding Mountain in the middle of nowhere, Manitoba. I'm like, okay, I've never been there in my life. And so I had just gotten this tattoo, so she's driving my car. And we go through this winding road around this park. And just before we turned into this little tiny, and I'm not even going to call it a park, I'm going to call it a little parking lot beside a river. So as we go pulling in there, I see with my own eyes, this is the first time I've ever really seen it, is a man with no head and no legs under the knees, but I saw full body jeans and a light blue shirt with short sleeves. standing right at the corner where we turned into the park. I'm like, did you see that, Holly? And she's like, no, what'd you see? And she was open to what I was seeing and feeling. She's very lit like a Christmas tree. So she's like, no, what'd you see? And I'm like, I just saw a dude there, blah, blah, blah. I'm like telling her this. And then she goes walking down by the river, and she's a short, tiny little girl, fiery blue eyes, Leo, like doesn't take shit from no one kind of girl, most beautiful healthcare aide I've worked with, one of the most beautiful. Anyways, loves being that. I don't think she does it anymore. But anyways, so she's walking along and she's got these platform shoes on. She's like in front of me. And all of a sudden I feel like something swept my legs out and I almost sat on my feet. Like something just came along and went. And I was like, oh, I got some really creepy vibes here. Like, what happened around here? She goes, oh, I was wondering if you were going to notice that. And I'm like, notice what? And she goes, well, I don't know. I can't remember the date, like 5 or 15 years before, a young man had drowned and they found his body somewhere around there. But it was a really, like, this stream was only this tall. And I'm like, what? Didn't make any sense to me. But when we were flying out when we were coming out of that park, flying out, funny, right where I saw that guy with the apparition, I'll say, the energetic form, this raven, like flew right by the window, driver's window, and like was right by where that guy's energy was. And then they were doing this all the way. There was 3 ravens, and all of them, we were trying to take pictures with our shitty Nokias, and we couldn't take pictures of these ravens hiding and they were just hiding everywhere. And we get out of this park, and she says to me, she goes, I think the raven is here telling you something. Like the raven really means something. And I had just booked an appointment for this tattoo I was going to get on my back. But I didn't know what the tattoo I was going to get. I didn't know I was even going to get an upper body tattoo because I didn't really want an upper body tattoo at the time. I was like, had this weird whatever about upper body tattoos and girls. It was a stupid judgment. Just because I'm a big girl, I didn't want to look even more mean and tough. That's pretty much what it came down to. I don't want to look any more intimidating than I already am. Anyways, funny what we think about ourselves, but I don't think I'm intimidating. I think I'm a beautiful human being. Anyway, so I had made an appointment to get this next tattoo, and she's like, look up whatever raven tattoo I think you should get a raven tattoo. And I'm like, I think you're right. So she parks the car, and we just got Wi-Fi, so I'm looking up like on the internet, raven tattoos, ravens, you know, kind of like whatever, all these things, and I come across this one tattoo that looks similar to mine. I was like, this is the one I'm gonna get. Okay, you guys are already waiting for this? Yeah, waiting for this part? So on June 20th, I go get the tattoo of a raven on my back. And it's got my children's initials around a moon. So they're A-M-E. The guy in the accident, I found out a short period of time after that, his initials were A and M. And his age was right in between my older 2 boys. Okay? So I go get this tattoo. I come back and Holly's like, hey, I just got this set of native totem cards. I want to read your totem. I'm going to write them down because I forgot to on mine. I'm kind of pissed off. I was like, okay. So shuffles them up. All these cards are laying face down. I'm like going through all of them. All of them. Pick out 9 cards. And the last card, I'm like, I don't know what this card is, you guys. My hand is boiling hot. My hand is boiling hot on this card. What do you guys think it was? Any guesses? The raven. The leader of my intuition. And she just screamed her head out. She's like, oh my God! Like, blah, 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 blah. She was dancing around. It was like powerful. So that's where the idea of the name came from. The second part is came to me when I was gonna use it as well. It was my cover name on Instagram because there was a lot of creepers sliding into my direct messages with DICK pictures, and I'm like, dude, no, no, no. So I changed it from my strawman name to Raven. So there's a whole bunch of people that still know my other name, but since 2014, I've been Raven online. Since 2015, I've been Raven Moonstone to the whole wide world. The last 8 years, I don't identify with my other name. When people say that name, somebody was calling it to me about a year and a half ago, and I'm like, it didn't register, even though my birth name is very sacred. It is so sacred that in Gematria, it literally says Jesus Christ. I'm not going to tell people what my real birth name is because it's for me. Most people that know me lifelong might know my birth name, or even some people in this, but most people know my married name in the straw man. They don't know my actual birth name. So that's why I keep that separate. And I think that's why Creator gifted me with that name. So with Raven Moonstone, so I could go out and be a single woman without getting like just the generic hackers hacking me and stalking me and being all flippin' weird. Because I already have enough of those losers in my life. Like honestly, this last person that came out of the woodwork was someone who should have never said shit to me in the first place. But he's out here creating and telling people that I'm a liar and I'm afraid of him. And I'm like, dude, you come at me one more time with your baloney, and I'm gonna not only write a song about you, but I'm gonna literally reveal like what kind of dipshit maneuvers you've been doing behind the scenes because it's not worth it. It's like just yeah. So that's why I have the two names. So that I hope answers those questions. And I'm glad that I have the gifted Raven Moonstone name because means true love waits. And I don't even mean for a secondary person. I'm just talking about me. I'm the true love of me. That's all. And I love that. So, anyways, yes, it is my totem animal for sure. So, my mom comes to me in a woodpecker, and one of my friends comes to me in a hummingbird. If I see a hummingbird, I instantly think of Anna, my friend, who is no longer with us since 2018. A beautiful lady. So that's all I wanted to say today, and I just want to let you go because I've got to run and go help out a friend. So I hope you enjoyed my little story about the raven, and you know why, and I hope that answered your questions. I have nothing to hide. Like literally, you can go watch that Who the Heck is Raven Moonstone, and you probably hear a version of that story, maybe longer and drawn out. I don't know. But anyways, I love you guys. I'm super grateful for everyone to hold the line in your life, love and light vibrations, and helping everybody make it through this. I really do believe you're all ravens too. I'm not just the only one. So we're a team of ravens, which is a conspiracy. No coincidences. So I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and I hope you find peace and inner strength to get through this next portion. We're going to need it. Cheers.